of oil soaring.
And remember, if you see news in the making, give us a call in either Miami-Dade or Broward, 866-658-8477. We are back after the break.
Celebrity weekend wedding. Then Angelina and Martha together in the Hamptons was Brad at Angelina's side. And in 2 weeks, Kathy Lee arrives.
Do I know how to make an entrance or what?
Next Insider.
Tonight at 7:30 on CBS 4.
All gasolines are not the same. Only Amoco Ultimate is crystal clear. Ultimate's unique formula provides better acceleration and less hesitation than other premium fuels. The choice is clear. More performance, less pollution. Amoco Ultimate at BP.
If you noticed, the screen you're looking at is blank, except for April 2007. That's your first payment date if you finance at Rooms To Go. Now, if you finance furniture elsewhere, these would be the annoying monthly checks you'd pay until April 2007. Miss a payment, you pay big interest penalties. So which do you like better, checks and penalties or Rooms To Go? Great furniture, big savings. No money down, no minimum purchase, no interest, and no payments until April 2007. Hey, good choice.
Breaking news. Sports. Stocks. Get fast solutions every time on Herald.com.
This is the story of Ted and his three best friends, Lily and Marshall.
Will you marry me?
Barney.
Hey, so you know how I've always had a thing for half Asian girls? Lebanese girls are the new half Asians.
Yasmin.
It's a very pretty name.
It's Lebanese.
And the one girl.
Hi, have you met Ted?
Who will change everything.
How have I always described my perfect woman? She likes dogs?
I've got 5 dogs.
How I Met Your Mother. CBS Mondays this fall.
Our best shows in HD TV. Tonight on CBS 4. Brought to you by BrandSmart USA.
The all-new all-wheel drive Saab 97X. Distinctively designed, independently inspired.
Marshall's Law of Fashion. Law number 6. You can't choose your DNA, but you can always choose your jeans. Law number 3. For what most people pay to dress one kid, you can dress them all. Marshall's Law number 5. You can't change your husband, but you can change his clothes. Designer fall fashions. Fabulous prices you'll fall for. That's Marshall's Law.
The Price Patrol, Week 2. We'll visit a Wyoming town that's squeezing the last drop of oil out of old wells. Tonight on the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer. Experience you can trust.
Before we go tonight, a reminder to stay with CBS 4 for continuing coverage of Hurricane Katrina.
Look for the latest tonight on our sister station, UPN 33 News at 10, and then on CBS 4 News at 11.
And that's our report for now. Thanks so much for being with us.
We'll see you back here at 11 o'clock tonight for CBS 4 News Tonight. It is time now for the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer. Filling in for him is John Roberts.
Good night.
Wide and powerful Hurricane Katrina rips across the Gulf Coast, wrecking buildings and flooding roads from Louisiana to the Florida Panhandle, and it is not over yet. Good evening, I'm Bob Schieffer. We'll have full coverage of Katrina tonight, what it's already done, and where it's heading. John Roberts in New Orleans is heading up our hurricane team.
New Orleans is a flooded ghost town tonight. Much of the city is underwater. Most people left town. Others are spending this night in the storm-battered Superdome. The hurricane disrupts oil production and sends crude oil prices to record highs.
This is the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
Well, it's been a bad one. The eye of Katrina made landfall just east of New Orleans as a Category 4 hurricane with winds of 145 miles an hour and very heavy rain. Tonight, it is slowly weakening and moving northward from Mississippi with its wind, rain, and flooding. Here's the latest now. The storm has been deadly. The casualty count is growing. More than 500,000 people in 4 Gulf Coast states lost power. Experts say insured losses could hit $16 billion. Hundreds of flights have been canceled, and the price of oil hit an all-time high. CBS News has a team of correspondents in the hurricane zone tonight. John Roberts is heading up our coverage. John?
Good evening to you, Bob. Late this afternoon, New Orleans mayor reported that some 200 people in New Orleans are still stranded on rooftops and that several bodies have been spotted in the water. Preliminary death toll in Louisiana from Hurricane Katrina right now is between 4 to 6 people. Much of the population of New Orleans had been evacuated to higher ground long before the storm hit. That's because so much of this city, the Big Easy, is so easily flooded. It's so exposed. Add to that monster winds, and you've got the makings for widespread damage. Katrina blasted into New Orleans, the most powerful hurricane the Crescent City has seen in modern history. And this monster storm lived up to its billing. New Orleans downtown was strewn with downed trees, windows blown out of high-rises, walls collapsed. The famous French Quarter left with a headache that topped anything from Mardi Gras. It was all a dizzying experience. This man, racing home to see what he had left, lost his car when he drove right into a lake that was the main interstate.
I didn't see the water. It just blends in with the gray of the road, and I just drove right into it.
And he wasn't the only one who suddenly found water everywhere. Much of the city lies about 7 to 10 feet below sea level. This area of New Orleans on the eastern side was flooded earlier today after a levee bordering an industrial canal broke during the height of the storm. For the lucky ones, it was waist deep, chest deep for others. The Mississippi moved right into the living room. You decided to stay here. Why?
I didn't have no other place to go, really, and didn't think it would be this bad.
It was bad, but city officials had expected much worse. Only that last-minute jog to the east saved New Orleans from catastrophe. A city that had become famous for near misses took a hard punch, but not the knockdown it could have been. About 9,000 people here in New Orleans took shelter in the Louisiana Superdome, the home of the New Orleans Saints. But even that huge building couldn't offer complete refuge from the storm. Lee Cowan has that part of the story.
Never before has a stadium hosted fans quite like this. Hungry, tired, wet, and thankful.
I'm very grateful for this Superdome, because without it, I don't know where we would have went.
The people who came here, nearly 10,000 at last count, simply had nowhere else to go. They were either too sick, too old, or too poor to flee the storm in time.
We just waiting till we ride the storm out.
As riding it out goes, it was all going fine, considering it was the middle of a Category 4 storm.
We can hear it rattling, and I think the people in here are pretty happy to be inside.
Until inside became outside. Here's where it gets a little disconcerting. We've been here for the better part of the night, and really for the first time, it sounds as if the roof is starting to peel off the Superdome. I don't know whether you can hear it in the background there, but it's also starting to show its effects. This is the roof leaking from about 300 feet above, and it's not just here, it's in spots all around the dome. Those leaks slowly became waterfalls. The roof they were all so thankful for started crashing in.
Scared everybody, scared me.
It barely missed Alexanderson. Before he and thousands of other refugees knew it, the roof was full of holes. Katrina had found her way in.
We still caught a pretty good lashing.
Residents scurried to higher, drier ground, choosing to camp out on the beer-stained floor of the stadium. That's where thousands remain tonight. A new breed of saint for this NFL stadium. Wet, weary, but alive. Lee Cowan, CBS News, New Orleans.
As bad as things got here in New Orleans, when the eye of the storm shifted ever so slightly to the east, the strongest part of Hurricane Katrina shifted to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Jim Acosta is in Biloxi tonight.
It seemed like Katrina would never quit. For 8 long hours, hurricane-force winds and driving rains pounded the Mississippi Gulf Coast. It was like nothing this area has seen in a generation.
This is as bad as Camille. This is bad news here.
The beach, like much of Biloxi, is underwater. Katrina flooded homes and turned cars into bumper boats with a dangerous storm surge as high as 22 feet.
Storm surge has been much bigger than anything ever before. The result has been, in some cases, people being trapped in their homes, trapped in other buildings.
Just to give you an idea of the storm surge here, we're standing out in front of this local highway patrol building. There used to be a road here. Now it's totally covered with water, and it may look like the Gulf of Mexico, but it's actually the Intracoastal Waterway.
In less than a minute, it was a foot deep.
Within hours, the rising threat filled up the first floor of the patrol headquarters, creating a 12-foot deep aquarium that buckled the walls and even fooled the fish.
This building is held, you know, it's withstand hurricanes before. It's going to flood. We'll keep moving upstairs if we have to, and then we'll just rebuild it.
How many floors do we have in this building?
We have six floors, so we have a lot of stairs.
That meant much of the rescue work had to be done out of the dispatch room.
We're going to get you out of there. Just, okay, you need to calm down now.
We were there as a call came in from a woman stranded in her car with her 88-year-old father. Water lapping at the door.
They're stuck on the long bridge and the water is coming up over the bridge.
Help arrived just in time.
They got her on
area code 228.
Emergency crews plan to launch rescue boats as soon as it's safe. Even after the frantic warnings to evacuate, a few diehards, some with small children, took their chances.
This house survived Camille. We know if we board the windows, if we lock things down, if we hunker down, as they say on TV, then we'll be okay.
After being trapped inside all day long, we're just getting our first chance to look at the damage here. Homes are wrecked, cars are ruined, trees are down, but authorities tell us this is nothing. The devastation is everywhere. John?
Because it swept right over so many offshore rigs in the Gulf of Mexico before it came ashore, Hurricane Katrina sent the price of oil soaring on world markets. Mark Strassman in Baton Rouge now has more on the economic impact of this storm.
Wherever you live, Katrina's gonna cost you. Out in the Gulf of Mexico, the monster hurricane barreled through the heart of U.S. oil and gas refinery operations. The real long-term worry is any damage Katrina caused critical infrastructure, like those rigs and undersea pipelines. And refineries sitting in low-lying coastal areas may also have flooded. Some have called it a perfect storm to drive up gas prices.
They have no idea the magnitude of this damage. Is it a matter of days before things go back to normal, or a matter of weeks, or could be a matter of months?
Operations in the Gulf pump out almost 1.5 million barrels of oil a day. That's 1/4 of the U.S. output. Turn off those pumps, and prices you pay almost have to surge to new records. Last year, Hurricane Ivan stormed through the Gulf. Oil and gas infrastructure was so damaged, repairs took months. Oil prices jumped by almost 20%, and that spike has never really come back down. Katrina's damage could be that much worse. The first Category 5 hurricane to storm through the same oil field.
That's the big fear, there'd be an Ivan repeat, but possibly even worse.
So today, because of Katrina, oil traded briefly above a landmark $70 a barrel. A good sign you can expect another jump in prices you pay at the pump, almost immediately.
It'll be a couple of days at least before energy companies learn the full scope of the damage, learn whether their world has crashed down around them, and we learn how much more every American will have to pay for that damage at the pump. Bob?
Thank you very much, Mark, and stand by there for just a second, because I want to chat with all of you after watching these pieces across the Gulf Coast tonight. John Roberts, I take it we can't really even make an estimate yet of what the casualties are going to be until people have a chance to get out into these areas.
Oh, no, Bob. I mean, they only know what they can see at this point, and really all they can see is a small piece of the eastern part of New Orleans. I was there, and really it is just as far as you can see, water everywhere. There are people who are asking for help. They can't get help. We called 911. 911 said, we can't help you. You've got to go somewhere else. So it's going to take some time, and when they get into all of those parishes that are down toward the Mississippi Delta, where it comes out there into the Gulf, that's going to take an awfully long time, Bob.
Yeah, Mark Strassman, what are they worried about in the areas where you've been today?
I think most of the worry, Bob, is from people from New Orleans who rode up the storm here in Baton Rouge. I mean, most of the damage in Baton Rouge is actually fairly general. Downed trees, power lines. The folks from New Orleans who rode it out, if they see damage like this, I think what they're going to say to themselves is, when we go home, if our neighborhood only looks this bad, we got off easy.
And John, I take it one thing that is really of concern to me is I watched Lee Cowan's piece from inside the Superdome there. It's amazing that people weren't hurt when that roof, those big pieces of that roof fell in. Is there any report of injuries over there that you know of?
Not at the Superdome itself, Bob, but we've heard reports of minor injuries coming in from across the city. But it appears, though, that most people did heed the warnings. They either got out of town or they got into shelter. It seems that the casualties are going to be among those people who decided to ride it out at home.
And what about drinking water?
There's a little bit of water in some areas, not a lot in others. It's definitely going to be a problem, particularly, Bob, in that area it's under 5 feet of water. There's no water lines there, no sewage. That's a potential health problem brewing.
Okay, well, this one is not over yet. Clearly, we'll be finding out a lot more tomorrow. Thank you very much, John. Thank you, Mark, and all of you down there. Coming up, more about those oil and gas prices, because the CBS News Cross-Country Price Patrol is on the road tonight from Wyoming. They'll report on new life in some old oil wells. First, CBS News honors fallen heroes Alex Vaughn. His family says he was a big bouncing light who made you happy whenever he entered the room. A combat medic so devoted to his men, he refused to go on leave. Though hit by shrapnel, he went on a mission to rescue a wounded comrade and was killed by small arms fire. He once wrote, "Know that if I die, I did it trying to bring back as many people as I could."
There will be some discomfort, but it won't hurt a bit.
Now with new Olay Regenerist Night, you can rest easy. It works during the night to increase surface cell renewal by 50% for an Olay mini lift every morning.
Got gas, pressure, bloating? Tums doesn't treat gas. To treat gas, use Gas-X for fast, powerful relief.
Popcorn? Ooh.
Gas-X beats the bloat, and acids don't.
Stupid allergies.
Poor kid can't sleep.
He's all congested from nasal allergies.
Only Nasonex is clinically proven to treat and help prevent congestion and other seasonal nasal allergy symptoms.
Let's tell his mom. You go.
Side effects were generally mild and included headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
His congestion's better.
But your nose isn't.
For seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, Nasonex is the one to treat and help prevent congestion. Talk to your doctor.
So what can you tell me about this perfect real estate agent?
Well, she has a lot of experience.
And lots of sales.
She knows our neighborhood, the schools, maybe speaks a foreign language.
Icelandic.
This could take a while.
Finding the right real estate agent shouldn't be this hard. At RE/MAX.com, you can search the industry's top sales force for the agent who's just right for you.
Maybe we should call up their surveillance teams?
Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
Good improvement.
Thank you, doctor.
Cholesterol's down. Well done. That's great.
Hello, doctor's office.
And I gotta tell you, nice job.
Mr. Decker?
I told you we'd get it down.
Yep, even doctors can have high cholesterol. When diet and exercise aren't enough, adding Lipitor can lower your bad cholesterol from 39 to 60%. In fact, more cardiologists surveyed said they'd prescribe Lipitor for their own family members than any other cholesterol brand. Lipitor is one of many cholesterol-lowering treatment options in addition to diet and exercise that you and your doctor can consider. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or who may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you are taking or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as these may be signs of a rare but serious side effect. Ask your doctor about Lipitor today.
For a time today, Hurricane Katrina drove prices on the gasoline futures markets up more than 25 cents a gallon, but at the pump, the Energy Department reported today that gasoline held steady in the past week at a nationwide average of just $2.61 a gallon. That is still an all-time high, of course, and CBS News is reporting on the impact in a special series, the Cross Country Price Patrol. Jim Axelrod is driving coast to coast from New York to San Francisco. Tonight, he's in Wyoming.
For years, the sign on the road into Wamsutter, Wyoming, said it all. But new blood is pumping here.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're raising gas prices. We should have plenty of oil just around here.
Everyone thought these oil fields were just about tapped out. But with oil near $70 a barrel, oil men are rechecking spots they'd left for dead.
There is many, many millions of barrels to be produced out of the aging fields in Wyoming.
How much can your harness take?
1,800 pounds. There aren't enough roughnecks to keep pace, the guys who work the rigs.
Pressure's good.
So Wyoming just opened a school to train them.
What we're going to do here in the next 5 days is we're going to give you a glimpse of what drilling rig life is like.
John Muse teaches safety and technique. Roughnecking is tough work. These are real men.
I look at your attitude and your heart to see if you have what it takes to be a roughneck.
Well, most of them.
Step up on the ladder.
Climbing rigs is part of the training.
It's a little trickier than it looks.
Well, yeah, that's why they call it training.
I'm 15 to 18 feet high?
Yes, you are.
Seems a lot higher than that.
It feels a lot higher. Take a look around Wyoming, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking around Wyoming.
Wamsutter's exactly the kind of place roughnecks wind up. Thinking boomtown, swimming in cash? Forget it.
I really like Wamsutter. It's a little hole in the ground that I hate.
400 people live here full time. 3 gas stations, 2 restaurants, and a coffee shack. 500 oil workers sleep in trailers. They don't pay taxes. Rosemary Rowe is about the only person in Wamsutter who benefits directly. She runs the only bar.
No, they don't want to stay here. They come in, they look at the town, and there's nothing here.
Now, right now here in Wyoming, they could use about 1,000 more roughnecks. Dangerous work, but good money. With overtime, about 50 grand to start. This for a guy who might have been making minimum wage just a few weeks before. Bob?
You might find a few people down around New Orleans that might be heading that way, Jim, right now. At least it looks dry. Where do you go next?
Well, we're headed to Salt Lake City. We're going to see the effect of high gas prices on driving there. The story of extreme carpooling tomorrow night, Bob.
All right. Thank you very much, Jim, and we'll have more news in just a minute.
Nature fanatic, health nut. Grape nuts eaters have been called many things. Fortunately, they haven't heard a word of it. The unique nutty crunch and delicious taste of grape nuts. Live life your own way.
Some beauty treatments require maintenance. But there's one beauty treatment you only have to do once. New Crest White Strips Premium Plus. Get whiter teeth with just one kit. Keep them whiter for 18 months.
This is it, my time to shine. Getting better all the time. This is everything I wanted. This is it, this is just for me.
It targets only the gray hair. Replace it with subtle tones for a natural look in 5 easy minutes.
This is everything I wanted. This is just for me.
Me? I'm a problem solver. There's a problem, I solve it. One problem I thought I'd solved? My acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn. But when I went back to my doctor, he told me over time stomach acid had damaged the lining of my esophagus. He prescribed Nexium. Said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. Nexium healed the erosions in my esophagus. And one prescription Nexium pill a day keeps me healed and relieves my heartburn. So I don't just feel better, I am better. My doctor did say other serious stomach conditions may still exist, and headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium.
Talk to your doctor about Nexium and find out if a free trial is right for you.
Even the best problem solvers need a little help sometimes.
Nexium, the healing purple pill. If you can't afford your medications, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
County Line Lexus makes the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event even more golden. Right now, lease a luxurious new LS430 loaded with leather, CD, and sunroof for only $499 per month. $499 for only 36 months. Take advantage of huge Lexus Golden Opportunity savings, plus sign and drive on every new Lexus with absolutely no money down and no money out of pocket during the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales event going on right now at County Line Lexus, home of the Lexus Way.
Well, Iraq finally has a draft constitution. It was delivered to Parliament yesterday, and today the government gave voters in a Sunni-dominated western province an extra week to register for an October referendum to vote on it. President Bush said today he is very optimistic about Iraq, but Sunni leaders denounced the constitution and vowed to defeat it at the polls. Thousands of Sunni demonstrators marched through Saddam Hussein's hometown Tikrit today. They carried pictures of Saddam and denounced the Constitution, saying it will divide Iraq along religious and ethnic lines. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers said today it has demoted an official who criticized the award of a no-bid contract to the Halliburton Company for work in Iraq. The Corps said Bonatine Greenhouse was demoted for poor job performance, but her lawyer called it, quote, illegal retaliation for criticizing the Halliburton deal. And we also have tonight an update on casualties and damage from Hurricane Katrina's first landfall, which was last Thursday in South Florida. It seems weeks ago, but state officials raised the death toll today to at least 11 in Florida. The estimated damage is now up to $2 billion. More than 300,000 homes and businesses in South Florida are still without power. 30,000 more in the Florida Panhandle lost power today when Katrina hit the Gulf Coast. Still to come, sizing up two giant storms, Camille and Katrina, how today's hurricane compared with the monster storm that hit in 1969.
Smell that?
Nice. Smells exactly the same as the last time we came in here.
Exactly.
It's Glade Wisp, the first automatic home air freshener you can actually see working.
See that puff?
Exactly the same as the last puff.
Exactly.
Unlike sprays, Wisp puffs automatically. And while other air fresheners start out strong and fade, the last puff smells as great as the first.
That last puff smelled as great as the first.
Always working to keep your home smelling fresh. Glade Wisp, the proof is in the puff.
Exactly.
SC Johnson, a family company.
All of us have internal plumbing. But for some of us with frequent urges, our pipes just don't work as well as they should. Sometimes you worry you could spring an embarrassing leak. So why deal with it on your own when there's something more you can do? Treat it once daily with Vesicare. Vesicare can reduce urges and may even help relieve bladder leakage. If you have certain types of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems, do not take Vesicare. While taking Vesicare, if you experience a serious allergic reaction, severe abdominal pain, or become constipated for 3 or more days, tell your doctor right away. Common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, blurred vision, and indigestion. So why wait? Ask your doctor today if Vesicare is right for you. Fewer urges and leaks. With Vesicare, it's not just a pipe dream.
Every day, I see all kinds of people with diabetes. And for everyone, eating right and controlling weight is essential and hard to do. That's why there's delicious Glucerna to have as a meal or satisfying snack. Glucerna's unique blends of slowly digested carbs are clinically shown to help control blood sugar. And with a little exercise, Glucerna may help you lose weight. For free meal plans, visit glucerna.com. It's time for a taste of freedom.
Cosmetic procedures? Why bother? For you, there's Olay Regenerist. Significant skin improvement. Women who use Regenerist may find they've lost interest in cosmetic procedures.
First, Benefiber revolutionized fiber by making it clear and tasteless. Now they've made it even easier to take by putting it in caplets. New Benefiber caplets. What will they do next? Benefiber makes taking fiber easier.
Tomorrow, ripping winds, blinding rain, Hurricane Katrina hit hard. What's left in her aftermath? Hear the dramatic real-life survivor stories on The Early Show.
And we have an update now on Hurricane Katrina. The storm is losing strength tonight over Mississippi, but it is still dangerous. It could dump heavy rain as it moves north through the Tennessee and Ohio valleys to the Great Lakes. Katrina was a major hurricane when it hit the Gulf Coast of Louisiana and Mississippi this morning, and there are deaths reported. Damage is projected now to total $16 billion. More than 750,000 Gulf Coast residents are now without electricity. What Gulf Coast residents had feared most today was that Katrina would be another Camille, a hurricane that is still apparently in a class by itself. Here is Anthony Mason.
Before Katrina came ashore early this morning, along the Gulf Coast they had a name for the worst that nature could throw at them, Camille. They erected memorials to the lives she took and the devastation she wrought. A Category 5 monster, Camille slammed ashore in almost the same spot in August of 1969.
In modern times, it was the most powerful hurricane that we've had hit the U.S. coast.
More intense even than Andrew, with winds gusting up to 210 miles an hour.
Well, you just wouldn't believe. The wind was just, you've heard the expression of a locomotive coming through.
Camille produced the highest tidal surge ever recorded in the U.S., 25 feet. From Biloxi to Gulfport, 68 square miles of Mississippi coastline were just flattened.
What happened when the roof came off?
I almost had a heart attack. It was awful.
Cargo ships were thrown up onto piers. This Gulf sign survived, but the gas station didn't. At first, this woman couldn't find her house.
But mine was right down the corner, and I don't even see it. Yonder!
More than 250 people died. Entire families were wiped out. The Williams family perished in Hurricane Camille, 13 of them. In Camille's wake, 36 years later, Katrina has come. Not as intense, but a bigger hurricane attacking a more populated coast.
And so you're going to see similar kind of destruction with this hurricane, and people are going to remember this hurricane.
And when the debris is cleared, nature's devastation may have a new name here. They may be building memorials to the wrath of Katrina. Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
And that's the news. CBS News will be tracking Katrina throughout the night. For the very latest, click on cbsnews.com. I'm Bob Schieffer, CBS News in New York.
For news 24 hours a day, click on cbsnews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart, bringing your community jobs, low prices, and support for neighborhood programs.
This is CBS.
It's the ultimate sofa sale, when every single sofa without exception will be on sale at Rooms to Go. Save on leather sofas, motion sofas, sleeper sofas, and fabric sofas. Every sofa in every Rooms to Go showroom will be reduced to shocking low prices. It's an incredible opportunity, the ultimate sofa sale at Rooms to Go. Every sofa is on sale now through Tuesday.
After Katrina, for the latest on the local cleanup, keep it on CBS 4 News.